What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Cafe and Views. Today we went to Greendoor and we got ourselves a raspberry mint cold brew. Let's talk about the shop. When you first get to the shop, it provides you with that authentic coffee shop type of feel. It holds true with its name. There's a giant green door that you have to get through in order to go inside. But overall, before I went into the coffee shop, just being in that area, providing me with a nice welcoming, it's more upscale just because of the area it's in. It just attracts you to the coffee shop. When you're driving by, when you're walking by, you see the green doors and you see the sign that says Greendoor and you want to go in and get a coffee. And then once you get inside, it's a huge area inside. There's a lot of stuff that you can just look around on. They do have a lot of merchandise that you can buy. You can buy coffee, you can buy little coffee cups and things of that nature. The cashier is right in the middle of the coffee shop, so it's right at the center of attention. The inside, it's not filled with neon lights, it's not colorful, it's not flashy. It's just a normal, neutral tone coffee shop. But the light that's on top of the cashier, it's blue, so it provides a nice little touch when you go and pay for your coffee, when you go and order. The menu is also pretty extensive. You can get a lot of different foods, a lot of different snacks. You can order sandwiches and food that will get you full, not just little snacks that you can eat with your coffee. You can get full-on sandwiches and full-on meals. And they also have indoor seating. If you don't want to go outside, you can sit inside. There's plenty of seating inside. Right outside of the doors, there's little seating so you can work on your computer. There's Wi-Fi. For me, the Greendoor Cafe aesthetically gets a 4 out of 5. Let's talk about acidity. Right off the bat, I'm getting a huge raspberry note. That's the only real fruity note that I'm getting. There's no other fruity notes. There's no citrus or blueberry. It's just predominantly raspberry and that kind of blackberry type of feeling to it. That's a subtle little sourness, but the good sour that I'm getting. It's kind of teeter-tottering between the sweet and the sour note. The raspberryness, you can tell if you're just eating raspberries that it gives off that sour note. But for this, it's giving me like a raspberry iced tea type of flavor to it. And it's giving me more of a lively and a mellow type of feeling. It's not sharp, it's not sour. For acidity, I'm gonna put this at a 4 out of 5. So let's talk about aroma. You're getting a different kind of aroma smell than the flavor. For the flavor, you're getting that raspberry iced tea type of feeling, but then for aroma, you're getting that coffee type of smell with a slight raspberry hint to it. You can definitely tell that it's a raspberry coffee by the smell, but you can't get that from the taste alone. But I would say it's pretty pleasant. It's not the best smell in the world. I would love for the smell to be exactly like the flavor, because that would give me more of an iced tea, more of a sweet raspberry tea type of vibe. But just overall raw raspberry coffee, it's still more on the pleasant side than the unpleasant. But it is attracting me for more because of that natural tea type of feeling where you're smelling the tea bag and you're smelling the leaves that went into it. This coffee smells as if you were making a cup of tea. You're dunking a tea bag into a hot water and you get that raspberry smell. That's exactly what you're getting in this coffee. So for the smell, you're getting a slight hint of what the flavor is gonna be. Smelling it, you get that raw iced tea smell, and when you're drinking it, you get more of that iced tea type of feeling. You do get maybe half of the aroma in the flavor, but you don't get that raw feeling when you're drinking it. And it's real earthy, it's real fruity. You get a little bit of that flowery note from the tea. You don't get the spicy note, you don't get the chocolatey or the nutty. And for this coffee, you don't have to lean into it that much to get a good smell off it. It's kind of like you're making the tea. So if the lid is off and the smell is coming out, I can definitely get a raspberry aroma from it, just not as prominent as if I was gonna put my nose straight up into it. And then the mint is also providing a nice flowery, earthy feeling to it, adding to the raspberry note. So this coffee is pretty dangerous just based off the aroma, because it just smells like a raspberry raw tea. It doesn't smell like a coffee. You don't get any of that cold brew coffeeness or milk aroma to it. For aroma, I'm gonna put this at a 4 out of 5. Next up is gonna be flavor. The whole raspberry and the mint and the coffee all blend real well together, and it just overall provides a nice flavor, and it doesn't taste like a coffee at all. If you had ice in here and you were just drinking this coffee on a summer day outside your house relaxing, you would probably forget that it's a coffee. You would think that it's a nice iced tea, raspberry iced tea. The consistency is water because it tastes like a tea, but I'm gonna give this a pass. I like my coffees more thick, and this coffee is not that. It provides a nice refreshing feeling on your tongue. It doesn't coat it, it doesn't provide a layer to it. You don't feel any weight or texture just based off the liquid alone, but that's fine because of the taste and the aroma, and just overall providing you a nice sensation that you're in the summer, you just got done mowing the lawn. It provides that kind of a feeling. There's a little bit of raspberry and mint in this coffee. You can tell it's kind of not dissolved, and it provides a little bit of added texture to it. If you just made a homemade tea and you got a little bit of those tea bag particles in your tea, in your drink, that's kind of what it is. So it still provides that natural tea-like experience. Nothing gets changed. For body, I'm gonna put this at a 3.5 out of 5. Next up is gonna be sweetness. This coffee provides that raspberry iced tea type of feeling, but it doesn't taste as if any added sugars went into it. If you're making a raspberry iced tea and you want it to be sweetened, you might add sugar to it. But this coffee does that without adding any extra additives to it. It tastes like a normal raspberry iced tea with no sugar added, but it still tastes sweet. The coffee that went into it is providing that natural sweetness that you would get on a sweet raspberry iced tea, and it's that perfect sweetness that I like. For sweetness, I'm gonna put this at a 4 out of 5. Next up is gonna be aftertaste. This coffee wets your mouth in a big way. There's no dryness at all. It sticks around and it doesn't dissolve, doesn't dissipate. It overall provides a good mouth feeling and a nice mouth coating. If you have that feeling of drinking raspberry iced tea and it just satisfies all your taste buds in your mouth, this coffee does exactly that. It's smooth and it's naturally sweet all throughout. Nothing changes. It doesn't go from sweet to sour or sour to sweet. It's nice and consistent all throughout. It does keep asking you for more. On a nice summer day, it's 90 degrees out right now, so with a little bit of ice, this coffee would be so refreshing. It would take you back to a nice relaxing moment. For aftertaste, I'm putting this at a 4.5 out of 5. Next up is going to be complexity. This coffee is not complex. It's doing its job at being as minimal as it can be, and for this coffee, it's really good. For other coffees that have no flavor and no taste, that are just trying to be minimal coffee, those are not good, but this is actually doing a good job. There's not a huge variety in here. It's just the raspberry and the mint and the coffee. The looks, it's not as complex, but the little added raspberries and the mint to it add to the non-complexity, so it bumps it up a little bit. But the taste, it's so minimal that it's great. Nothing is real prominent, nothing is sticking out in a bad way. Beginning, middle, and end, it's still that same raspberry iced tea feeling. Nothing changes. You don't get a coffee feeling at all throughout any of that process. Even when it goes down your mouth, you don't get that coffee flavor. It still tastes like raspberry tea. So for complexity, I'm gonna put this at a 3.5 out of 5. Let's talk about balance. Just the 3 ingredients together balance out perfectly to create the iconic raspberry iced tea feeling. If you got any sort of coffee from it, it wouldn't be balanced. It wouldn't do its job at creating that raspberry mint cold brew. There's no doubt about it. You're gonna forget that this is a coffee and you're gonna think that it's a raspberry iced tea. For balance, I'm gonna put this at a 4 out of 5. Let's talk about forgiveness. The only thing I can really forgive about this coffee might be the looks. That's the only thing that really is kind of at a lower point. It's not at a low point, but it's at a lower point as opposed to Aroma or Aftertaste or flavor. If I could fix anything, it might be the look of the coffee or more branding on the coffee cup. Those are the only 2 discrepancies that I have in this coffee. So for forgiveness, I'm gonna put this at a 4 out of 5. Let's talk about versatility. Because this coffee tastes exactly like a raspberry iced tea, you're gonna be able to drink this at any time, when it's hot, when it's cold, in the morning, at night, from Monday to Sunday. Any point, you can grab this coffee. It can be your daily coffee. It can be your special coffee. I'm definitely gonna make this part of my rotation if it's really hot out, or if I'm in a nice area and it's sunny out and I need something refreshing, but I need something also to wake me up. Because this is a cold brew, so it doesn't have much added to it besides espresso, coffee, and the raspberry. But I want to get flavor, but I also want to get some caffeine in me. For versatility, I'm gonna put this at a 5 out of 5. All in all, the raspberry mint from Greendoor got a 40.5 out of 50, or about an 81% out of 100. Because it got such a high score, it's gonna be at top of my list. You should definitely go check it out and see for yourself. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you so much for watching Cafe and Views, where we went to Greendoor and we picked up the Roseberry Mint Cold Brew. If you haven't told your mom about this, make sure you go tell her so she gets to enjoy the coffee and she gets to pick it up at her next Beverly Hills trip.